Good evening to our dear viewers and our listeners who are live with us on Spaces. You are very welcome to the Fat Talks show today, the 10th of October. As we celebrate Uganda's 62nd birthday, we have amazing creative entrepreneurs with us today. And we thought, how else can we celebrate Uganda but bring innovative Ugandan masterminds to you to be able to show you that this country is a country that has hope, that has opportunity, and for all creative minds to thrive. With me here today, we have two beautiful guests, but I would like to remind you that Fat Talks shows on Smart 24, on DSTV and GoTV every Thursday from 4 to 5:30. Our offices are at Kanjocha Street, plot 61, Fidelis Leadership Institute, which is our company property for Fat Talks. So remember to visit us if you're looking to be faithful, available leaders in the future. To our guests today, very welcome, Hawa and Shamim.
Thank you.
You look amazing this wonderful Thursday. Happy Independence.
Happy Independence to you too.
So ladies and gentlemen, we have Hawa and Shamim Mago. These are two sisters who have started a business that has thrived and stood the test of time. Without wasting time, Hawa, would you like to tell our viewers about yourself, and then Shamim can follow?
My name is Hawa Mago, and I work with Shamim Mago at iCandy.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm Shamim Mago. I'm partners with Hawa in the business iCandy Events, where we do wedding styling and events for wedding styling. Styling for events, weddings, parties, all sorts of events, basically.
iCandy.
Yes.
Tell us a story. iCandy, where did it all begin? For people to appreciate Made in Uganda. You have thousands of followers on Instagram. All the celebrities are thirsty to have iCandy. It's a woman's dream for iCandy to decorate at their wedding. Tell us, where did iCandy start, Shamim?
So iCandy started as a candy business. That's why we have the name anyway. We started as a candy business where we used to sell selections of candy. We had chocolate, we had gummy bears, we had imported candy, which we failed to sell at some point and decided to find a way to sell it in bulk. So we ended up with candy buffets, which were tables set up with a selection of candy at a different price. From then, the market started to ask us to started decorating the candy tables, and with that beauty, we were able to get into weddings and other events and parties.
Wow.
Yes, the business grew organically from there.
Beautiful. So as you can see, when you have a business, it's not how you start that you end that way. It keeps evolving.
It has evolved.
It has really, really evolved from just selling candy to doing all these glamorous weddings and events. So creativity. So today, ladies and gentlemen, creativity as a cutting edge for business leadership. Mago, Shamim, and Hawa Shamim are business leaders. They're just not decorators. They're not just creatives. They're business leaders. And we have seen that in a world where there's a lot of competition, you have to have a bit of creativity. How could you share with our viewers what inspired you to focus on creativity? Because every time you do something, everyone just copies and follows.
Well, we did not set up to say this is the creativity line that we're going to take. It is something that came up with a couple of reasons. Like, take for example, having little cash flow. When we started Humble Beginnings, we really didn't have money, and we were pushed to be creative. You were pushed and shoved into trying to create things from zero, from scratch, because we couldn't really import things. That's one of the reasons why creativity really has taken hold of iCandy. The other one I would say is wanting to produce something that's different. That alone pushes you to be creative because you want to be different. You want to shock people. You want to make the bride happy. You get, so that alone makes you really push the creativity bone and exercise it. So another reason would be also pushing the market. You know how when you produce something and then you feel like it's taking a different direction and everyone is copying that direction, you try to, that has really pushed us to be very creative in eye candy.
So because of the monotony of doing the same thing in the business, it forces you to be creative.
Exactly.
And also you want to shock and surprise your guests, so it forces you to be creative.
Exactly.
That's really interesting, because most people don't actually think like that. They're always thinking of the easy way out. It can't be easy being that creative as a leader. So, Shamim, can you share like a specific example where creativity led you to a significant breakthrough in your work, where your creativity made you get into the market and it was that breakthrough moment? Do you remember that moment?
Oh, yes.
Or how?
I think it was Ted. And there have been so many instances.
Yes.
There have been so many instances, but then with all the things that you do, there's just that one thing that makes you, pushes you into.
Yeah.
So now, like Teddy's wedding, we had a bride and she really trusted us. You know, when someone really trusts you and gives you the leeway to be creative, gives you leeway to actually surprise her. So along those lines, we were pushed into Teddy's wedding, whereby it was shortly after COVID.
Yep.
And you know, we had...
It was actually before COVID, but
yes.
then COVID happened a week to her wedding.
Wow.
Lockdown came in.
And we had sent for some items, and those items actually didn't get here in time. And when they did, we had to actually use them a little bit for the COVID weddings. And now we get to her wedding, and we feel we need to do something completely different from scratch. So now we lay the basics, and we're like, you know what? We have to shock. So everything was done in a way that it had to look different and it had to shock her, because she had trusted us, she had given us all that leeway to be creative. And that's one of the weddings that really pushed us, and we're like, actually, we can actually pull this off. We can really be creative and start from scratch.
Can you say that creativity comes from trust? Because I heard you say she trusted us.
I guess
When someone trusts you, does that let your juices flow, your creative juices flow?
it does, but it's also scary a little bit.
It's very scary.
It's very scary, but then it gives you that that energy to actually push.
It pushes you actually, because when you're scared, every time we've been scared of an event, and we're like, this is very
how we going to how we going to pull this off?
Those are the events where we create the most, and they're always the ones that make a big change in the business.
Yes.
When you get the most phone calls, the most likes, those events that really push.
And the most
people forward.
replication.
Yes, the most replication always happens.
Everyone
The
is
most creative
imitating
ones.
those events.
Yes.
Is getting resistance. As professionals, as business professionals, how have you handled that resistance?
I think
The professional setting.
I think I go crazy when it comes to creativity. And Charmaine is the one who goes like, you know what, Howard, that's a bit too much.
So
we kind of balance, because I think if I was the one doing everything alone, I don't think people will be able to understand what we're doing, because it would be so creative. We will have, like you just said, the creative cast. Yes.
So beautiful. Imagine this and that. Only you would love that.
It's only you.
Yes.
So it's because you have two different personalities. So we see the goodness
The
of having two
balance.
different people working together.
Exactly.
A calm, settled person
And then this creative, wild person.
So, Shamim, how have you handled that? How have you handled resisting that? Or that kind of resistance? Or even from clients. Let's suppose that you're both on the same page, but the client isn't. How do you handle that?
So because a wedding is a once in a lifetime experience, what we've learned over time, initially we used to fight back. We used to say, no, this will look nice, and you convince someone that something will look nice. But over time we realized that as happy as the bride who asked for, let's say, purple, and you did a purple wedding. So we realized over time that it also matters what the client wants. So what we do these days is, if a client comes through and says, this is what I want, and it's out of what you feel is in style, what you do then is, you consider what the client wants and just add to it. Be more creative about it. Do something out of this world, but within the client's needs. Yes, so that's the hard.
Yes, and I remember there's also that time when you told me, client has given me colors, but in my mind, they don't make sense. But let's go do our homework. And then when we go back and we do our homework and we're like, actually orange and blue really do look nice. Orange and blue. But when you think about it, you're like orange and blue. But then when you go do your research, you go on Pinterest, you go everywhere, Instagram, and then you look at all these palettes and you're like, hey. Then me and Shamim are like, this is not so bad. This is actually different.
It was not so crazy.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I hope, dear viewers, you're picking a few tips from our creative minds, Shamim and Hawa Mago, who are the masterminds of iCandy, a creative house in Uganda that has stood the test of time. So as we celebrate our 62 years at 62, these are the ladies we need to look up to. Creativity comes with collaboration.
Yes.
You have a team, you have the lights, you have the cameras, you have all these things. How do you go about that? How have you managed to balance all that collaboration? Because some people work for you, others don't. So as business leaders, how have you been able to use collaboration to grow your business?
It's an uphill battle. We keep working with different. We're massaging the whole relationships.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of different people that we deal with, but the ones that are easy to deal with are the ones we actually keep giving jobs. We keep collaborating, and then the ones that are a lot harder too. Maybe they are late. They don't keep time. They're not good at all that. So it really does help when we talk to them and we keep massaging them and we keep talking to them and we keep giving them jobs.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's about relationships.
Yes.
How about your teams? How have you been able to collaborate with them? Some of them, have they grown in their particular roles? How have you been able to collaborate in time? How do you do that?
Now, like take for example, our team, we have the permanent team and then the team that we get on board when the job is really, really big. So now the permanent team, Shamim has really done wonders with that because
she's HR.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She looks after them like they're her babies.
That's wonderful.
She looks after them like they're her children. Like she talks to them, she mentors them. Me, on the other hand, I'm there to support and I'm there to, be tough and tell them the hard truth.
Yeah.
But then with her, she's always telling them, do your research. She's always encouraging them. Don't only think about iCandy. Think about being out of iCandy. Think about what you can provide for on from like when we started. And that has helped the business. For example, people who actually go and leave, they always come back. And they always even work harder when they come back, when they go out there and they see and then they come back. And I've noticed that the team is really strong and they trust. They trust us.
That's amazing. Shamim, you seem to be good with managing people. So for our viewers who have businesses, most times, even in our homes, a lot of us have maids who come and even live in 3 months. You hire a high turnover. But based on what your colleague has said, you have a gift with people. What would you encourage people in the creative business to do? The top 3 things when they're managing people so that they can get good results.
Okay, so I think the first one is with the people that you work with. When the people you work with know what your dream is, they kind of align themselves as well. They try to figure out where they fit or if they even fit. So this helps them understand where you're headed. That means that if they're happy with you, they're going to try and suggest different things as well. Then I think another thing would be to think of them like you think of everybody else, like your friends. So when you're seated with your friends and they have an idea, they're telling you about a new business they want to start, you want to help them, right?
Yes.
So it's the same thing with your staff. You need to know what their dreams are, where they're headed, to see whether they also align with your business. Because if you find maybe one of your workers wants to own a decor business in a short time, and their goals are too big, you want to kind of sieve them out and try and squeeze them till they leave, because that is not somebody who's going to give you what you want. And if it gets too hard for them, maybe they'll run away with some of your stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to know exactly where they're headed, support them if you can, so you're both moving and everybody feels like, okay, this is a win-win. I'm helping you and you're helping me as well.
That's very powerful. Most
Yes.
times when we are working, we adopt the same. And I'm happy that you're doing that, because once they buy into your dream, then you're able to thrive.
You're aligned, yes.
So we'll have one more question before we take the break. To our dear viewers, remember you're listening to Fat Talks Show, airs on Smart 24 every week, Thursday from 4 to 5:30, Smart 24 TV and Go TV. Today, once again, thank you so much for coming, Shamin Margot and Hawa Margot. Thank you so much for hosting, welcoming our invitation and coming to share your dream with us. Now, in terms of tools, you know, as a creative, there are tools that you use. What would you recommend for creativity in a workplace? What tools do you use?
I can maybe elaborate on tools. Like, take for example, the first tool I would think about is brainstorming. Every time me and Shamin sit down to brainstorm, we even find other routes that we didn't think we would use within the creative lines. So every time we sit down and brainstorm, every time we have an event and we sit down and talk about it, we lay it down. So those are some of the things that we are very strong at, sitting down, laying down what we are going to do, how this wedding is
Do you
actually
set
going.
time for your brainstorming?
Actually, we don't. We don't. That is something that is so hard. We don't go late, like way late, till late, and we continue. And then sometimes we try and it just doesn't happen. And we just stuck.
It's a good look. So when it's flowing, you let it
We
flow.
let it flow and we don't stop it.
Maybe that's what our viewers can learn. Most times in businesses, people think, now it's time to brainstorm. It doesn't necessarily work from us. The experts have told us that sometimes your juices are flowing, so you go with it, and sometimes they're not. Yes.
And then the other one is we use social media. We use social media whereby it's not necessarily looking at other decorators, but things that inspire creativity, things that inspire. Take for example, we use a lot of Pinterest, but not looking at like weddings. We look at sculptures. We look at all these different things and buildings, and that we draw from to actually do our high tables, our ceilings, restaurants.
Your famous backdrops.
Yes, so that's where all these interesting things come from, because we use these tools to enable us to actually really be very mindful of what we are doing and be creative.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Shamin, would you like to share any before we take a break?
So I think another tool I find very, very, what do they call it? You know how you get in, like, changing environments, trying to do things in different environments, unfamiliar environments. Because personally, sometimes when me and How are away from each other, we have work to do, but we still need to brainstorm. So what we do is we try and go to the places that have the things that we want to create for that thing. You go outdoors, you try and, like, if I've traveled, I'm going to show her everything I've seen, how I've seen this, I've seen
Look at
that.
this reception. Look at this reception.
Yes, look at this. I've seen this flower. Do you know they do this with this? So it's exploring very different places.
That's very interesting. Not just visiting for the sake. Most people are traveling and they're tweeting, catching flights, not catching things. Darlings, there's more you can do with those flights. You can look at more creative things.
And be inspired.
And be inspired as opposed to making people jealous online. So that's very interesting. So you're doing like mystery visits, you're visiting these places, you're getting inspired. And I think that's what a creative needs, a new environment where you're always doing all these things. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember our topic is creativity as a cutting edge for business leaders. And now we'll take a break and see you in a bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Smart 24, driving business.
If you play a game of power,
Chelsea is French.
I didn't lie to you. I only withheld the information.
any minute I get, I'm going to tell Charles. lose it all.
I'd rather be buried alive.
Damalai makes her boldest power play.
Very dramatic.
In season 2, Monday to Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Only on Pal Magic Prime. DSTV channel 148. Go TV channel 303.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. White Star Magic Family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Are you a woman entrepreneur or a woman owning a business and looking for affordable financing to scale up your business? Look no further than the Grow Loan. Grow Loan targets female entrepreneurs nationwide. Key features include a minimum loan amount of 4 million and a maximum loan amount of 200 million shillings, a maximum interest rate not exceeding 10.5% per annum, a loan repayment period not exceeding 24 months. All Grow Loan borrowers must comply with the Grow Project environmental and social standards. Special incentives are available for borrowers that are refugees or from the refugee host communities, people living with disabilities, and women entrepreneurs from the underserved or minority groups. To apply, contact any of the 6 participating financial institutions. Contact us for more information or visit our website at www.grow.go.ug. The Grow Loan is an intervention under the Grow Project, a Government of Uganda project financed by the World Bank and implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and the Private Sector Foundation Uganda. Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
Hello, I am here in Nairobi, Kenya, attending the 3rd International Negotiating Committee on Plastics. And it's really fantastic because as Secretary General of the Convention on Wetlands, wetland ecosystems are so important and very critical for the world. And our 172 contracting parties have been really working very closely from the community level to the higher level, the policy and the scientific level to make sure that plastics are managed in these vital ecosystems. Wetland ecosystems have been so instrumental and critical for bird species, both resident and migratory. In fact, there's a story of a bar-tailed godwit that flew all the way from Alaska to Tasmania, and that bird did not eat plastics because it had fed very nice fish, good protein, and managed to fly such a long distance non-stop. But we've seen how plastics have affected not just bird species, but also other ecological spaces, including marine life. And we see how well over 800 species, both on land and in the sea, are affected by plastics. In fact, they're dying from ingesting this very perverse material. But not only is it affecting the natural environment, we know that 3 out of 4 people in the world actually have micro and nanoplastics in the world. And plastics are affecting children even 14 times higher than adults. So we already see this perverse material is problematic really for our human well-being. And as such, we're working very closely with the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, whom we partner with very closely and supporting for this process. And we want to share our experiences as an MEA, being the oldest and most experienced MEA, well over 50 years old, to share the experiences from the bottom up and also the reporting mechanisms such as national reports, wetland inventories that we take at these wetland ecosystems, so that they are included in this process as we march towards this new treaty on plastics. All the best.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. Welcome to Fat Talks show that's live on Smart 24 every Thursday, 4 to 5:30 p.m. We are your number one talk show when it comes to being informed in this country. Today we brought you two amazing guests as they were here earlier, Hawa and Margot. Hawa, Margot, I keep mixing them up, apologies. Hawa, Margot, and Shamim Margot, who are Uganda's top decorators and creative minds in the industry. Decorators, top American decorators. Follow them on iCandy and you'll know exactly what I'm trying to say. Their work is so outstanding and unique. So, to the ladies here, what inspired you? Because I'm sure growing up, some of you used to say, I want to be a nurse, a doctor. How did you transform yourself? How did you begin? How did it start?
Personally, I studied industrial fine arts at Makerere University, BIFA, and I've always wanted to do something with my hands. So I majored in photography and I did photography. While I was doing photography, it hit a certain point whereby it wasn't going so well. And that's when Shamim called me and told me how I have this idea. You just come. And then she took me to, I think it was Aristoc, and she bought all these different vases and all these different things. And it was, I think for me, looking at all the candy and all the colors and everything, I was hooked. Like from then on, I was hooked. I didn't think about photography. I just dived in. And then
on your journey to pursuing your dreams, there's always that enabler. There's always that person. Shamim, thank you for that. There's always that person who is able to help you realize what you're good at and push you into the unknown. So that's very interesting. Shamim, share with us, how did it all begin? What inspired you to pursue this creative idea?
For me, it was money at the time.
That's a good motivation.
Yes, because at the time I was out of a job,
Okay.
I think. Then I had all this candy seated at home and nothing to do with it. Then I found the candy bars online, the candy buffets.
Okay.
So when I saw how pretty these things were and thought about how to do them, I remembered how I used to do print work for us. She used to make stickers for me for the packaging of the candy and whatever. So when I decided I wanted to start doing the candy buffets, I said who better to work with than Hawa. So she can do the print work and design, then I can always buy the candy and we have this business together. Because at the time she wasn't making enough money in photography as well. So that's when I called her in, we started. So we did start out wanting to style weddings or decorate anything, to be honest.
Yes.
It found us along the way and we ended up being good at it because I don't think our biggest edge has been creativity from the beginning. I think the edge we had was we wanted to be different at every time, at every single turn in everything we did, we wanted to be different. So in wanting to be different, we ended up seeming extremely creative. And then it happened that there was a lot of creativity in there as well, naturally. So it just kept growing and growing and growing. And we, besides being creative, we exerted ourselves. Because some creatives think, oh, I'm an artist. Let me just put this together and present it. And creatives are usually very lazy. But for us, we put the hard work in. We researched, we stayed up all night. We argued about different setups. No, I think this looks better. No, I think this looks better. Have someone else look at it. Okay, let's meet halfway. So I think the banter, the back and forth, it led us to this point.
So as you can see, motivation also comes from trying to be different. And this is a message for all Ugandans. As we pursue our independence, just be different. Because in your moment of being different is where your gift was noticed by the public. That's where the public noticed you. So ladies and gentlemen, don't try to be like everyone else. Be different and then you will find your dream. That's a very important lesson for business leaders. So ladies, how do you balance your creativity with the business aspect? Because when I'm a business person, for example, I do some trading sometimes. If I buy, for example, a perfume at $100 and sell it at $150, I've made $50. But for creatives, it's a bit hard to put that pricing. How do you manage as entrepreneurs? When you're offering your value,
battle. It's a serious battle because now when it comes to the two of us, we balance each other. we can draw up the plans, and then I go crazy. I make the plans and make them so extra huge and make them very flamboyant. And then Charmaine is like, Hawa, I think that is out. Meet halfway and also not go above. But to be honest, we were losing at the moment.
Yes. I'd like to add to what Howard said.
Yeah.
I think for creatives or people in the creative world, it's better for you to work with somebody who has failed to go away. Where we still struggle with our numbers is, by the time we started consulting the accountants and all these people, our prices had been set. We had already gone too far in, then there's already so many clients who say, but I paid this much. So it's harder for us to increase our pricing and to charge more for certain items. So what we've done is
we've been
try to
locked in.
scale back on certain areas and spend more on the areas that actually matter to clients.
That's interesting, because to be sincere with you, I don't envy you when it comes to that.
Number.
If you've seen their decor, it really comes down to price. Everything is costed and it can't be easy to price. So thank you for sharing. So the learning is to scale back on a few things and bring experts in early. If you are creative, and bringing the person for the numbers, bringing the social media person early, involve different experts to help your business, right?
Yes.
That's very interesting. So, success is something we're all chasing in life. We all want to be successful right now.
Charmaine, you go first.
How do I define success? I think for me, success is being able to be recognized as an industry leader or as someone who has made a difference in whatever you're working with. So for me, in my opinion, we are successful. I know we have times when we're at zero balance. I feel like we are successful, but I don't know, how do other people define success?
Sometimes success is intrinsic, some people it's internal, others it's external, others it's a balance. So, but I think what you said is right. When you get affirmation from the outside world, I mean, that's why there are awards, that's why there are nominations. I think that is success. But for me, for your time, creative power, tell us.
And another thing I would like to add on, it's something like maybe from far back. I did not think that I would be a job creator, and now I'm here creating jobs for other young people. So in my mind, that is success, being able to actually employ these young children and inspire them and let them, you know, give them what to do. So it's really something. It's really something.
I think that's very touching, and the president is looking for people like you. We need to tell him that the Magos are hiring Ugandans because to be honest, the statistics have shown that there are not that many jobs. The corporate world can only hire 1.5 million people. What happens to the rest of the people? So I think that's success, you being able to give another person an opportunity where they can put food on their table. I think that's beautiful. My name is Viola Mboneko. It's okay. I'm a host for today. The topic today has been about the cutting edge of creativity in business leadership. With us here today, once again, we have Hawa Mago, a very creative mind, who is a partner with Charmaine Mago for Eye Candy. And this is a top-tier business in Uganda that has stood the test of time. And as we celebrate Uganda at 62 years, to be sincere, these are things that never used to happen in this country. And now we have creative people doing wonders, right? But it's not always that rosy. We can't paint it as a rosy picture. Before we go, because some people are facing challenges and they're wondering, how can I get there? Can you share some of the challenges you faced and how you've overcome them so that people can know there's sunshine after the rain? Yes. Any challenges you faced?
There's one challenge that
could be business or personal.
There's one challenge that keeps coming up of clients really, and we feel for them. Many clients really feel for them who really have a budget and then they're not able to meet that budget at the end of the day, and then we are left not being cleared. We haven't been cleared. So after that, after the event, we are chasing them, looking for them, calling them, and that is a challenge that we keep facing. And I don't know how we're going to overcome it at the moment.
So what you're trying to tell me is that there are people who come, you meet them, and they have this big dream,
Yes.
and they want it, then halfway they can't afford it, so
Yeah.
you have to pull out.
No, we actually,
They tell you when you've already started.
when you've already started that they're not able to give you the balance.
The balance. Oh
Yes.
dear, that's a very serious challenge.
It's
You may need to hire a lawyer because actually that's just to put it there. Do you sign contracts with people before you do work with them?
yes, we do, but then the contract can really go so far because it's there, it's legal, it's binding, but then you're still going to have to chase them. You're still going to have to go through all the legal battles of trying to get them to pay you and clear you and clear, and that's already really tasking on the company and on us. So it's a challenge, but we're going to definitely overcome it.
People, can we behave? If someone has done a good job for you, this really, they just want your good work and then after pull out of it. That's very, very sad. We can talk about legal issues after here. I'm so sad to hear about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think that maybe having security deposits, but again, that can be extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can be extreme. Over to you, Shamim. What challenges?
Maybe some other challenges we face could be, like on the business side, we struggle with our numbers.
Oh yeah.
We struggle with matching clients' expectations with their budgets. So that's an area we're trying to work on,
Yeah.
trying to see how to make clients still be ecstatic when they've seen their depot, but at the same time, our pockets are not crying. For that, we've got an accountant to help us. But being disciplined enough to listen to her is where the struggle
The
is.
struggle is, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the solutions we've got for that. Another problem we usually encounter is with staff. We lose a lot of our staff to competitors, and also, so they'll just walk out and say, okay, you've been working at iCandy, I can give you this much.
To steal all the
Yeah, to
ideas.
steal, yes, all the ideas, tell me where they get this, tell me what to do to get here, how did you create this wedding, then they'll end up replicating something we did for a certain amount of money for less.
That's very
Because the
sad.
hardest part with a creative business is actually coming up with the concept.
True, that's the hardest.
The rest of it, doing everything else is easier, yes. And if you have the people that did it, even better. So we're not able to mint the money out of that concept because it's already been done for less. So that's another thing we've struggled with, but we found a solution for
Yeah.
that. We're leaving the work that we've done in the past behind us.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're creating new
New
things
things.
for each client. So we're not worrying about the past work.
It's interesting that you share that because I've worked in the consumer industry before, if we are first time moving consumer goods industry, and they never share their secrets with us. You don't know where they are sourcing their items from, you don't know the materials that are made. Obviously people will imitate, but maybe it's something that creatives, you need to guard your creativity or register it to make sure your creativity is protected, because that is where you get your wealth from. Any personal challenges? Because you're women, you're mothers, you have lives, and these are jobs that you have to do sometimes for 18
Overnight.
hours overnight.
Oh, overnight.
Yeah. How have you?
Yes, definitely working overnight is a struggle because we're women and sometimes we're tasked to have to go to places where it's really not secure and it becomes really tough. So you have to be strong. So that's a challenge that we're definitely overcoming. Yeah.
How are you overcoming it?
Ish.
But I know that you're close and your family, I'm assuming your family steps in for you on many of these things. Or you've created systems. Personally, I create systems. I tell people my house nanny is my house manager. So I delegate a lot of these things that I do. I can't do it all. So I don't know. What do you do, Shamim?
For me, I don't want to lie.
Yeah.
But what we've done is we're trying to give our personal lives some time. Like this year,
This year,
we've booked less work. We booked less work, we tried to spend more time with family, and we hired a more professional manager.
Oh, nice. That's
So
good.
with a professional manager, you know that there are certain responsibilities she can handle even in your absence. She's been able to take over the sites at night because I have a newborn, I have a baby.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So she's been able to take on like the late nights. I was stopping at about midnight and going home to spend time with the baby and come back in the morning. So this year was easier. We hired the manager. It's been a big help.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's good. I think delegation for businesses is very important for all of us. So, any parting shots? Because now we have only 5 minutes to go. Once again, I would like to thank our lovely guests for today, Hawa and Shamim Mago, who have spared their valuable time, unbilled time. A lot of creatives don't give you free time. Thank you so much for coming to Fat Talk Show. For Fidelis Leadership, this is the institute that encourages us to be faithful, available leaders, and these are business leaders of tomorrow, and we were happy to host them so that they can teach our fellow creatives out there that even if you don't have a job, you can sit and think of being different and then price your difference and never know how it will turn out. Now, to our dear guests, any parting shots to our viewers?
But me personally, I would like to let everybody know, every creative person, do not give up. Me and Shamim did not give up. We did not get handouts. We did not get any money from our family. We struggled at the beginning, but with the struggle comes great reward. Don't give up. If you have an idea in your mind and you want to bring it and be different, just keep at it.
That's very profound. I want to cry.
Because it's tough, because it's really tough. Like our business is really, really tough. You work tirelessly and it's a new thing for every new client. It's their first time and it will never be replicated.
Saying it, fall down, get back up, fall, get back up. Thank you so much, Hawa. Those are very powerful words. Shamim?
I think for me, what I was 60 or 70, just always do your best because you never know what's going to come out of that particular project we're working on. Never look at a project and think, okay, this person gave me less money, so I don't care. Just handle each project as like gold. Handle each project like gold. Say, okay, this is something that could define my career. Your smallest project could define your career, and your biggest project may not. So you don't know. Just handle all your projects 100%. Give them 100.
Yeah, which takes us back to how you began. It was just candies, sweets, chocolates, but they did it with perfection, and people demanded for more. People said, give us more, and I think it's important to respect your humble beginnings and give it 100%. For me, what I've learned today is that you may not have said it, but I think loyalty is very important. When you're two people and you start something and you're all happy independence, remember to view it next Thursday, 4 to 5:30. Smart 24, it's on GoTV and DSTV. Vala Mboneko, your host for today. Bye. Thank you. Okay, babes.